So, 2020. What a year it has been, and more like a roller coaster. First off, in January, we all thought it was going to be just a normal year until there were talks about a certain coronavirus or COVID-19, and also Australia was burning down. Next, we obviously had the sad death of Kobe Bryant, who obviously got killed in a helicopter accident, and then lockdown happened in March through most of the year. I guess we can all agree that 2020 was possibly the worst year ever since we been born, I guess. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to basically have a mini recap of my type of 2020. Basically my own life in 2020, the motorsports aspect of 2020, and the esports aspect of 2020. So I guess I'll start with my life in 2020. I thought it was going to be a normal, regular year. And obviously when COVID happened, there were talks about maybe my school, um, shutting down so we can go into quarantine. That did happen, and we were in quarantine for a very long time. It wasn't great. I hated online learning. I never want to basically have that happen again. It was terrible. I never liked it because the Zoom lessons were just boring. I didn't want to go to school. And well, so what? I didn't want to go into the Zoom lessons. All I wanted to do was just sleep and really do my own thing. Like making streams and videos, which is basically when that kind of blew up. When COVID hit and quarantine existed, I was mainly doing some streams. I wanted to do streams for a very long time. I started last year in June, so I decided to do it. Then I had the great idea of basically deciding to upload my my streams on September the 5th, 2019, which is not 2020. But obviously, it started to carry over, and then I decided to keep doing it. It was actually pretty fun. So I wanted to keep that going. And I enjoyed it. I I really enjoyed it. Obviously there were times where I didn't really want to record at all, really. Um, like many times. And I also decided to maybe make types of videos, with Streamlabs OBS, which I used. I remember I did the some F1 stuff, some basically the Carlos Sainz signing for Ferrari and Daniel Ricciardo going to McLaren. That was during quarantine. There was also the F1 races that I did as well, which was also during quarantine, which wasn't really great because I had to stop a couple times, but yeah. That was also when I built the Lego set for the first time, and it was also the first time I actually showed my face. That was only 5 months ago. That was on July 3rd when I decided to just do it. I went for it, I streamed it, it was a pretty big success. So then I decided to do it again. And it worked out pretty well that day. And then I got more into the Overwatch League scene and started to really do my weekly news segment on my channel, which then I also decided to do my motorsport news. It was I don't know how to say it. It was very stressful. It was very weird. but it was alright. And obviously my most popular video um was obviously in Overwatch Weekly News when I was talking about mainly it was the Overwatch developer update, but I also put Ash's voice actor fired, which wasn't true, so that was definitely my bad, my part. I got a total of 357 views. Is it possible to maybe do it next year in 2021? Maybe if my channel somehow fucking blows up, which is unlikely. Currently with 43 subscribers, and with also my name change from Dugong to RJ27, I think this is definitely going to be a long term for the next coming future. Then I decided to make my Twitch, well, my Twitch was already made in June, but my Twitch really blew up around in 2020. Now with a total of 77 followers, I think this is possibly going to be the time where I maybe blow up as well on Twitch. But it also depends if I really want to just continue streaming, which is, oh, I don't really know, to be honest. And then obviously school came back into, basically just into my own life when schools just started back up, and it felt different. It just felt weird because obviously we were at home for a long period amount of that time, and we weren't allowed to leave the house unless we actually had to. Also now with just clean your hands well, sanitize, and also like wearing masks in public, it felt different going outside, and it will definitely change how we as humans really just deal with the virus that basically turned 2020 into possibly unlike the other years to a year that we all want to forget. Would I want to forget it? Yes. But I also don't really want to forget it for my YouTube and Twitch. I wouldn't really say careers, but just hobbies, I would just say that. Because 2020 definitely helped with the growth of both of my channels, which is really, really, really nice. Now, when school obviously started, it then got to me that 2020 wasn't really a great year, and I feel like there were more conflicts in friendship groups. There was more tiredness. There was more laziness in schooling, and obviously that didn't really take like a huge toll on me. I was just like, well, that's always 2021 if that even becomes good. Highly unlikely, but I think it will definitely be better than 2020. I think 2021 will definitely be good. Hopefully, if that's the case. Praying, fingers crossed. But it mainly also happens with basically a school. Now that I'm getting older and just really thinking what to do in the future of my own life, it really got to me that like bit lonely, you know? A bit lonely at school. I'm gonna say like at lunchtime, 70 or even 75% of the time, I'm just sitting there. Sometimes I want to be alone, but sometimes, I want to talk to someone, but there's probably other people like having their own conversations. I don't really want to get into that. Just really just largely just walk in and just really talk about it, because I think they both really want to talk about it among themselves, particularly fine with. So mainly I just sit there all alone, and that's really about it. I'm not really going to go anywhere else with that. And then obviously school ended, and which I was possibly the happiest person alive. I was very happy when it ended. I especially want to say thanks if it's kind of like an appreciation time now. I kind of want to say thanks to my teachers, who've actually really helped me, really go through it. The very weird year. Just also like, some of my friends as well, like inside of school that, like have also like helped me as well during this year. Well, I just want to say just a bit like a big thanks to them, just a big thank you for them to really helping me in our there's like basically in 2020 as a whole. It's not really been that great, I'll be honest. Anyways, with my life now out of the way, let's talk about motorsport. Motorsport took a massive toll in in 2020. It all started also with the Roblox 24. That finished quite well because it was in late January. And then NASCAR started in February. Pre-season for F1 started as well. And when COVID hit, that's it. It was all gone. Until some motorsports, especially NASCAR, decided to basically go televised on iRacing. F1 also did this with their F1 game in F1 2019. IndyCar also did as well, I think also with iRacing. I think the World Rallycross Championship also did that I'm gonna say like Dirt 4, or maybe it was also iRacing. I can't remember. Uh, and also Formula E as well. I think also with iRacing or with Real Racing 3. I can't really remember. But obviously we all thought, oh yeah, it's really really good. It's a great idea to really keep just keep everyone from like watching um their motorsport. But then in NASCAR, possibly one of the biggest controversies happened during lockdown. It was obviously my favorite driver, Kyle Larson, dropping a racial slur, basically the N-word, on a stream. And on like multiple streams, he was trying to get audio working, but but yeah, it didn't really go too well. It was during a event, and yeah, he was trying to get his mic working, but yeah, well, I'll leave a link to that. I'll leave a link to the video in the description if you want more information about it. But it wasn't, yeah, it was supposed to be the biggest controversy in the quarantine event. Obviously, Chip Ganassi Racing kicked him out, or the sponsors kicked him out, and he obviously did release an apology video. We kind of accepted it, and now he's back in NASCAR with Hendrick Motorsports in the number 5 car. So that's like actually quite resurgence, I'll be honest. And obviously, for F1, we really got a lot of drivers' personalities coming out. Alex Albon, George Russell, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, all those 4 young drivers really came out and really decided just having a lot of fun, just playing games with each other, like Euro Truck Simulator with Russell and Leclerc. Lando Norris basically shaving his head for the COVID-19 Foundation. That just help with the work, like the doctors and workers. I also want to say big thanks for the doctors and nurses who really helped everyone's life. Trying to make vaccines and everything, helping people in cause. It's amazing just how well they have just how well they really just responded to COVID-19 and help everyone who had COVID or really everything. I just want to say there's a big thanks to them. And obviously, I forgot to say this actually in my life as well, but the George Floyd protest, the Black Lives Matter protest, that really hit F1 and NASCAR, mainly with Bubba Wallace in NASCAR and Lewis Hamilton in F1. When season got back for running for both of those series. Bubba Wallace drove in Martinsville a Black Lives Matter car, which is actually a really good looking car. It's amazing. It's a great looking car. And Mercedes made a basically had a black livery as their full season car, and Hamilton also had the Black Lives Matter on his helmet to really represent it, and that obviously caused him to win his 7th World Championship as well. So congratulations to Lewis to that as well. Um, IndyCar in the Indianapolis 500, I guess. Yeah. Okay. I guess we can call that in the virtual scene in iRacing. Santino Ferrucci basically decided to intentionally rag Oliver Askew to the line, but that was overshadowed with Simon Pagenaud wrecking Lando Norris intentionally. I made a stream on both of those occasions. I'll link to that as well in the description. Other ones as well, Formula E, when Daniel Abt basically, I think did like a PR stunt, like did like a little stunt with a pro driver basically running his car, and no one really noticed. Everyone was a bit confused, and that was that was more evident because his mic was legit hiding. I did not talk about that, but basically after was fired from Audi, I think he was fined as well, and he's not in the Formula E season this year. It's pretty sad, but yeah, that's just what happens, I guess. So and obviously around March, June, May, Motorsport came back. I can't remember what was the first motorsport to come back. I think it was IndyCar that came back first in Texas Motor Speedway. NASCAR also came back in Darlington for a double header there at May. And F1 also came back around June, July at the it was July in the Austrian Grand Prix. That was really good. We all thought, okay, it's going to be nice and smooth the whole way. There's going to be some very weird occasions, but that's about it. The controversies were not done. Back in NASCAR, it was evident that there was a noose in Bubba Wallace's garage. Turns out it wasn't a noose, it was just the garage handle, basically to pull up and down, and yeah, the FBI was also involved in that. It was it was pretty embarrassing, I'm gonna say, for NASCAR, but that really gave Bubba Wallace some notice in the scene of basically just everywhere in the world, because I think everyone picked that up and actually thought it was a noose, but it actually wasn't. It was just a garage handle to basically pull up and down. So it's basically just a rope. I guess then we'll also talk about basically the positives, I guess, that came out. Obviously, the NASCAR iRacing series, the first one, which is obviously in Homestead, that drew in, I think, like millions and millions of views on live TV on Fox. So that was really good for NASCAR. And some of the NASCAR races are actually pretty entertaining as well. I didn't really watch all of them, but as I've been told, they're really fucking entertaining. IndyCar, I think, was also kind of the same as well. There were like some surprises, there were some other stuff as well. But it didn't really hit that hard other than F1. F1 was just shocking. It was possible. I wouldn't really say it's the best season. I think it was. I'm gonna say it was like the top 10 season. We had like some great tracks coming back, like the Turkish Grand, like Istanbul Park, Imola coming back, the Nürburgring. We also had some new tracks as well, like Portimao in Portugal. That was there, and Mugello. Mugello was also there as well, which was really great. I did watch some of the race, like, yeah, some of the races. It was really fun, especially the Mugello Grand Prix, the Tuscany Grand Prix, basically. Oh, that was crazy. Obviously, some notable drivers got COVID-19. Sadly, I think the first big one was in NASCAR when I think it was Austin Dillon who first got COVID-19, and then obviously Jimmy Johnson also got COVID-19, being his final season in NASCAR. Was that great then? Over at F1, we had both Racing Point boys of Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll getting COVID, and Lewis Hamilton also getting COVID, which obviously made George Russell to drive for Mercedes, which is amazing. I'm really sad they didn't get the win there. It was very, very close, I think. There were also some surprises as well, mainly in F1. We obviously had Sergio Perez and Pierre Gasly winning their first ever race. I was so happy when Perez won. Lance Stroll gained a pole position in a very wet Turkish Grand Prix, getting pole position there. Esteban Ocon gained his first podium. Daniel Ricciardo getting 2 podiums for Renault. Just other stuff really, just that really happened in F1. It was it was very entertaining. So I guess that's really it for the motorsports scene. Now for the esports scene. And really, I really have to talk about 2, but one I mainly want to talk about is obviously you may side with this, Overwatch. Basically, well, if you don't know by now, I quit playing Overwatch like a long time ago. I'm gonna say like 4 months ago. I quit playing Overwatch. I was just getting so tired of the game, and I didn't enjoy it, so I just mainly quit. But however, that didn't stop me really quitting the esports scene of it. The esports scene, mainly Overwatch League, it's not really going that great. It's a little bit dying, but we'll digress. So obviously it started in February, I think it was. The home stands event was started in New York and Dallas. There's some really good matches there until obviously COVID hit and we had to play online. We played online. Some teams went to APAC, so there were like 2 divisions. There was the North American division, there was the Asia Pacific division. Most people went to North America, so some went to APAC. I think there were like 7 teams in APAC, 13 in North America. It was a very good season for the Overwatch League. Yes, viewerships were a bit down because they went to YouTube for some fucking reason. I don't really know. I still don't know why they did that. But there was like still some very, very entertaining matches and matches that we may look back on and be like, that's a good match. That's a very good match. There was also a time where there was also when they introduced the tournaments. Yeah, so there was the May Melee tournament. There was the Summer Showdown in June. There was the Countdown Cup in July, and in August there was none. But obviously in the playoffs, that was when it really, really shined. In the playoffs, it was crazy. Basically, 2 teams from North America will verse, and 2 teams from the APAC region will go up against each other. The North American teams had to move over to the I think Korea, if I remember correctly, or China. I think it was in Korea. I don't really know though. And we obviously crowned our champion, which was the San Francisco Shock, the first back-to-back champions. So congrats to them. 2020 was definitely a year of craziness, I'll be honest, for everyone. However, in Overwatch League, there was obviously some bad stuff. Mainly retirements, and pretty big retirements in the Overwatch League, to go to a certain game called Valorant. Yes, that game that I basically said I really wanted to play, but I couldn't be bothered to play, so I now decided to go as a content creator for different variations of stuff. I think like the notable players that jumped ship was Sinatra, Baby Bay, Zachary, and Corey that jumped ship from Overwatch to Valorant. Other ones as well includes Anidro, who's now I think in Cloud9 White. I think Sam was also jump shipped. Taimu also jump shipped as well. I don't really know who else. Saya Player, he's now renamed himself to Spider. He's now in T1. Also, Baby Bay, of Rocks as well. Zachary and Corey, they're now in FaZe Clan. Sinatra's obviously now in Sentinels, one of the best teams in North America. Similarly, Hip has also gone as well. Nalar, who I did mention in my players who you may not know, they now jumped ship to Valorant. Hip was formerly in Ninjas Pajamas. Nalar, I think he's in Team Singularity, if I remember correctly. Yep, he is. I think there was Paddy Fan. Paddy Fan is also jump shipped as well. He was a DPS player from Thailand. I think Mushroom. Yeah, Mushroom. Has also jump shipped. He was a DPS player, mainly played for Xavier Esports. Yeah, that's really about it. For that, Valorant has definitely had a huge, was definitely, Valorant definitely showed up during quarantine. They obviously had one of the biggest tournaments, the First Strike came out, and oh my god, was it amazing. It was very, very fun. I didn't watch it, but as I've been told, it was a great, great tournament. Very intense, and obviously, we obviously had our regional champions. For each region: Korea, Europe, Brazil, North America, APAC, CIS, Japan, Latin American. I think that's Middle East, Oceania, and Turkey. We obviously had we all had our champions there, and we now come back and we'll go back and do I think it's called the Championship Tour in Valorant, which I think is gonna be very, very fun. So that's gonna be really entertaining to watch. Before I end this off, I just want to say thanks to a couple of my friends. Thanks to all of you guys, especially them. There's also more of my friends who's also supported me. I just want to say thanks to them as well. But I think those 8 have really, really supported me during this whole time. During also my Twitch, YouTube as well. So I just want to say thank you to them. And to anyone who I miss, and I apologize, but I still want to say thank you to every single one of my friends. I'll leave a link to some of my friends who I think you should definitely support in the description. Give them a little shout out there. And yeah, that's really about it. So we'll move on to 2021. Hopefully it'll be a great, great year. Hopefully, please, I don't want to jinx it. Hopefully COVID-19 doesn't really hurt us again. But yeah, I'll continue to make these videos, these videos that you guys actually somehow enjoy, and yeah. So that's really it from now. I'll see you in 2021.